I recently worked with a widowed mom and her adult son, buying their first home together it was a manufactured home in a mobile home park. And the mobile home park I knew ahead of time was going to take a long time to issue a residency approval for her and her son. In this park specifically, they take every day of 15 business days allowed by law. So that actually happened. Even though I warned them ahead of time, don't give your notice on your rental until you have residency approval. And they gave notice anyway. So we got the offer accepted, and the appraisal started, and the insurance and the loan approval was going through, but the park was taking a long time, and this buyer decided to go ahead and give her notice. And I said, this is a problem. And she just didn't, think it was going to be. But it turned out that the park did take all the 15 days plus some. And so, unfortunately, that caused her to have to move out of her rental and put her stuff in storage, move twice, stay with family and friends for 2 weeks on couches, and basically put her and her son in a position where if we hadn't closed on the mobile home, she would have been homeless, and she would have had to struggle in a tight market to go find a different rental. So thankfully we did close, and she moved in and everything was fine. But it's not carelessness in her instance, in most people's instance, it's rushing, right? She wanted to save $1. So, but it ended up causing her a lot of stress and extra work and some extra money as well. So here's the pattern before we get into the list that I've got for you today. First-time buyers don't usually lose money because they're careless. They lose money because they're in a hurry. And hurrying always looks cheaper in the moment than it actually turns out to be. That's exactly what happened in the story I just told you. So, 5 mistakes, different disguises, same root cause. Let's go through them. So, mistake number 1 is skipping the credit or repair. So, the buyers that I see will get an inspection and a pest report done, whether it's a condo or a house or a manufactured home. And they may find issues with the roof and the skirting, foundation, but then they say nothing. So they're scared of asking for repairs or scared of asking for a credit, thinking that they might blow up the deal. But asking for a credit or the seller to do repairs is standard. It's not an overreach, right? A 2025 study of nearly 1,000 recent buyers found a price reduction was the single most common concession that buyers actually got from sellers. So the rush is emotional. Buyers rush past their own leverage because they are afraid of losing the deal and end up eating the repair costs that they never had to eat in the first place. If they had asked for a credit, they probably would have gotten it. So mistake number 2 is a pushy agent. Now, I love real estate agents, but some are there just to get a deal closed, and some are there to actually help a buyer find the perfect home. A pushy agent works best on a buyer who's already in a hurry. So, ask yourself, does this agent that you're working with feel like they're finding you the home that fits your requirements or moving you toward any home just to get the deal closed? So I've seen pushy agents talk buyers into homes that are they need work. Maybe the home is too small for the buyers. Something that is not ideal for the buyers, but it's just to get the deal closed. Buyers who trust their gut feeling and slow down end up with a better fit and a better price. So mistake number 3 is rushing to save on the rent, right? So, or your previous house expense, let's call it that. So that's where the story comes in. That's a mistake, totally. And here's why. The lady was trying to save part of a 1 month's rent, and she ended up moving twice. Storage fees, 2 weeks sleeping on a couch, and the real risk of if the deal had fallen through, she would have had to find a new rental, right, in a tight market. So that's obviously very bad. The rule, especially in a mobile home park, don't give notice on your current home until the park residency approval and every other approval is done, not only when it looks good, okay? Additionally, with mobile homes, you can get a residency approval prior to your offer. So just know that. Budget on purpose, right? For an overlapping residence, you want to give yourself a lot of time. Several weeks actually is a good rule of thumb. Sometimes a full month or more is even good. So the overlap is cheap insurance against much bigger cost of having to rush the move. Excuse me. Also, don't book movers or contractors to start work on the expected day of closing or maybe even the day after. Typically with real estate and mobile home transactions, it can go over, closing can go over by a day or two quite easily and often does. So give yourself plenty of time. That's the easy solution, okay? Give yourself plenty of time. Mistake number 4, not shopping for lenders. So even though I'm a lender and I don't want people to shop me, the fact is that a lot of buyers take the first rate that they're offered. Comparing lenders feels like a lot of extra work, right? And they're already impatient to move forward, right? So we just take it and go. And that could work, but you might save yourself a lot of money if you're not in a hurry and you want to get pre-qualified ahead of time, talk to a few different lenders. This matters even more on manufactured mobile homes because not every lender does chattel loans, which are personal property loans, or the land and home together. The terms between one lender to another can vary quite a bit, right? Fees and all that. Now, shopping and negotiating with multiple lenders has been shown to potentially save thousands of dollars over the life of the loan, right? No questions asked there. One skipped phone call can cost more than almost anything else on the list. Having said that, however, saving a little bit on the rate or the fees is sometimes not worth going with a loan officer who never returns your calls or who doesn't explain anything to you and seems not to care about your deal at all. Okay, so you definitely want to work well with your loan officer. They should be available for you, take the time to explain things, and even if they are a little higher priced than their competition, it might be worth it. So just go with your gut. So here's mistake number 5, getting pre-qualified too late. So here's the sequence problem, right? So buyers will find the home first, and then they fall in love with it, and then of course now they're in a rush. And then they start the process of loan and a pre-qualification. So there's really no right or wrong way to do the sequence. However, it is advised to get pre-qualified first. So get that out of the way. Figure out who you're going to use for a loan. Maybe even shop for insurance, although that's a little more difficult if you don't have the property identified. But get your plan together ahead of time. That's always going to save you a lot of time, effort, and stress, and money, of course. So getting the home first is deemed as backwards. It leaves zero time to fix your credit, pay down your debt, move funds around before it matters, right? Manufactured home financing often has extra steps to plan around. So don't find the home first. If you can avoid it, get the loan dialed in first. So same mistake, 5 costumes. So before we wrap up, I do have something for you. It's an APR calculator specifically designed for mobile homes. But before we wrap up, I wanted to make sure you know that I'm here to help you. Every mistake on this list has the same root problem, wearing a different costume. Rushing feels like saving time, saving money. But it's usually doing the opposite. So you want to fix all 5. Slow down. At the exact moment it feels like you should be rushing, you need to slow down. And if you want the exact how-to on getting pre-qualified early and fixing what needs fixing before you start house hunting, watch my other video, First-Time Homebuyer Tips and Advice, that actually work in 2026, and that's coming up next. And book a call with me. There is no cost or obligation. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I love helping people get into mobile homes with quality financing, holding their hand through the process. And I do have an APR calculator on my website too. All right, that is specifically designed for mobile homes.